Morning, everyone. Father Bob Gross, welcome to the lovely St. Aloysius Rectory kitchen. Want to welcome everyone and hope all of you are having the beginning of a good day. I'm just getting up and going here. You know, when you feel fresh after a shower and when you first put your clothes on and you're about to have your first cup of coffee. Um, the potential of the day. My morning encouragement is I want to share with you a quote um, uh, or a saying that Soren Kierkegaard, the great Christian existentialist philosopher in the 1800s, really kind of boiled down something really important. He said, the most important thing to do in life is to will the one thing necessary. To will the one thing necessary, and to offer all that you can to will that one thing, to choose it. It's not make it happen or anything like that, it's to will the one thing necessary. In other words, to choose. What's the one thing necessary? The one thing necessary is to choose Jesus. I want to give you an analogy. On Sunday night was the last two episodes of the uh, ESPN movie that's been going on for the last month of The Last Dance. It's been following basically the career of Michael Jordan in the Chicago Bulls. And I was growing up and huge into basketball during that time, and I just um, loved watching Michael Jordan. I was always a Larry Bird man. I always will be a Larry Bird man, but I was just a little bit too young to see Larry Bird when he was in his prime. I saw Michael Jordan literally in his prime. And I'm going to say it, I truly think he was the greatest basketball player that ever lived. I really do. And in those interviews, Michael Jordan really reveals who he is. And he wanted to win no matter what. There was a drive in him that he wanted to be the best. So he did anything and everything that he could to be the best, and then to inspire and to cajole and to drag along his teammates. And sometimes he was pretty ugly to his teammates. You really got a full picture of Michael Jordan in this documentary. And I walked away saying, man, he was a really good basketball player, but for basketball, you're going to do all that, you know? Whereas I think of another story about another hero of mine. One day, the private secretary of St. John Paul II received an urgent call from a world leader with an international crisis, and they were asking the Holy Father for counsel and to let him know about that. And the private secretary started going all around the apostolic palace looking for the Holy Father. So they went to his study, and he wasn't in his study. They went to his bedroom, he wasn't in his bedroom. They went to the dining room, he wasn't in his dining room. They went to his office, he wasn't in his office. And for a brief moment, the private secretary peeked in the chapel to see if the Holy Father, John Paul II, was in the chapel. And he wasn't in the chapel. And he was like, where is the Holy Father? Is he upstairs? Is he outside? I mean, where is he? And they looked around all of the rooms of the apostolic palace again. And this time, the secretary slowly went in to the chapel to look, and he looked really hard. And where was the Holy Father? The Holy Father was in the chapel, but he was prostrate. on the ground, face down, absorbed in prayer before the Lord. That's willing the one thing. That's willing the one thing. I find that story of John Paul very inspiring. That's why after this video, I'm going over to church. Because if Jesus can do that in that man, what can he do in me and you if we give him a chance to do it? So, will the one thing necessary. Choose Jesus today. Choose him today. Love him today. Serve him today. Be available to him today. And let him lead you. Jesus, we trust in you. Have a good day. 11:30 Rosary, noon Mass.